using calorie-free options of various foods and various condiments, etc. Now, there's a video in the debunking section around about artificial sweeteners that I suggest you check out if you are unsure about why it's a myth and why we don't need to really consider it that much when it comes to utilizing these foods. Now, calorie-free options are fantastic. They're not truly calorie-free. They're just very, very low calories that the companies don't have to signal that they're X amount of calories. They can say it's trace. These foods are generally going to be things like syrups, like the ones that you put in coffee, calorie-free syrups like maple syrup and blueberry syrup, chocolate syrup, and like things like Diet Coke, all of the kind of zero kind of calorie beverages, and whatever they bring out in the next 5 to 10 years that is going to be calorie free. Now, they are going to be absolutely fantastic for you during your back end of your diet. When you're dieting, which you'll see in the volume game, you have to play the volume game. You have to play the hunger game when it comes to trying to reduce your calories and get more fat loss. When you're coming to the end stages of that diet. For some of you, that means that you have to go relatively low in numbers, and you will need to try and utilize those low calorie foods as best as possible. So utilizing beverages like Diet Coke to help you move away from the cravings or have something to look forward to the end of the day is going to be a really nice, like kind of refreshing drink that you can have that doesn't have an impacting factor on your calorie allowance. The syrups, they're all made from artificial sweeteners, which is, it has an opinion within the debunking section. For most, during the dieting phase, it'll taste absolutely amazing. But unfortunately, when you come up the diet and you realize how taste buds are really confined, you'll probably find that you probably won't want to eat it in your day-to-day function, which is absolutely natural. They do give you a good opportunity to have foods without adding extras. So if you normally have your oats with honey, or normally have your oats with berries or chocolate, or you want chocolate flavoring of your oats, there are fantastic adjustments so that you don't have to spend any extra calories on it, and they will do the job for that period of time. Now, what you can get in the trap of is utilizing these overly excessively to fill a void within your type of taste buds or your cravings, and then you can start putting it on everything because you want to get that taste of sugar or that sweetness all of the time. Now, this is where you want to be really, really careful, and you want to keep it at a measured approach, not because they have any calories in it or it will be a detriment to your fat loss, but teaching yourself to have sweet 3 times a day will only get your body to want sweet 3 times a day. So if you're having those oats in the morning and you're having it sweet, you do expect to want sweet for the rest of the day because you had that. So you just have to think logically about some of the cravings that you're coming from. Are they coming because of the sweetness that you're utilizing? And a good other online coach company used to recommend that you would have actually food that you don't really like to have within the mornings, because then it doesn't suggest that you have sweet for the rest of the day, and save your sweet stuff for the evening so that you can then look forward to it, but also then you don't start the trigger of the cascade in the mornings where you're like, oh, I want sweet, and then the rest of the day you're craving sweet. So think about how much you're using of it. They're absolutely fine. You just want to make sure that you're not filling a void by using them, and ultimately they do have calories in, so they will add up over time. And they, as I said in the debunking section of the artificial sweeteners, you may get some bloating that is quite uncomfortable, and that may put you off in terms of utilizing it over time. I know for me, certainly, when I utilize like the likes of Diet Coke, maybe the syrup for my oats, and then utilizing it maybe in the creamer within the coffee, I would lose quite a lot of definition with my abs because I was bloated all of the time, and that didn't really sit well with me psychologically, because I was like, well, I'm getting leaner or I'm suffering on this diet, but I'm not seeing any visual changes. And it was actually down to me utilizing a lot of that bloating and a lot of that syrup stuff. So use it as you see necessary. Later on down the line, when it looks at lifestyle, when you're probably in that low 40s, 50s females, probably utilizing these over the long term is probably not too bad solution. You're going to be limited to your body weight and how much activity that you do, and if you can find small switches that you're happy with, on a day-to-day basis that you can swap out and not use calories for, you're probably going to be best off using that. For most people that are probably heavier than that, you're probably not going to have to, you know, always have the calorie-free syrup, or you're not going to always have to have the calorie-free options, because you've got the calories to utilize for it. But it's always good to think about it as maybe a short-term solution within the diet, and then look to have more normal syrups and seasonings when you're in that lifestyle phase. You don't want to be stuck in that perpetual cycle of thinking that you're dieting because you're using these low-calorie stuff, and then you're never getting the syrup that you actually want, or you're never getting the flavor that you really truly desire, which might be like chocolate and oats. And actually you'd be more better off, or you'd be better off by actually having the chocolate and the oats in your lifestyle phase, because you'll feel more full and you'll feel satiated and satisfied with it, as opposed to utilizing something like a calorie-free chocolate syrup, which won't taste the same, but will keep you craving more.